All right, Misha, it is April Fool's Day, and a lot of people are fooled, in fact, by the food that they eat. Dr. Richard Chaffoo is here to talk about some of these foods that we think maybe are healthy, but really aren't. There are a lot of myths out there.
They are, Andrew. In fact, the FDA has come down on a position statement regarding this. All natural foods are very hard to define. This is even by our governmental agencies supposed to oversee it. And the problem is that unless the food is actually from the earth, and it's not even regulated. So a lot of the foods that we're seeing are processed. They're not actually natural products. But the term natural in the food industry is a $40 billion industry each year.
So they put that on there. Everybody thinks, all right, this is natural. I think I'm doing something healthy. All right, let's look at some of these foods. Let's start with granola. What is it about granola that a lot of people are fooled by?
So, Andrew, it's a lot about portion size. I mean, there's definitely processing in here, but there are some nuts and other healthy items. The problem is that people put a large bowl and milk in that, and then it goes from being maybe a nice, not such a bad snack to being really overwhelming and giving you way too many calories.
Lots of calories in that. All right, let's talk about muffins. We see these muffins, think, all right, this is probably a better alternative than maybe a donut. Perhaps not, though.
Perhaps not, because we know that muffins actually, even like the brand muffins, anywhere from 400 to 500 calories per muffin, very high in saturated fats, very high in carbohydrates, and like a medium donut is only about 200 calories.
So it's almost healthier to go with a donut, relatively speaking, not healthy per se. All right, let's talk about cold cuts. Seems like, all right, here's some good protein, but maybe
protein's important, but you're right, because that's the problem with the processed meats have half of our daily recommended salt in a single slice or a single serving, in addition to the nitrates and the nitrites, which not only preserve it and give it color, but again, there's some thought that it might be carcinogenic in nature.
Sports drinks, a lot of us work out and we think, all right, I don't know what's in here, but it's probably good because Michael Jordan says so, right?
Oh, whoa, Michael Jordan does, of course. But the problem is, Andrew, that really it would take an athlete doing really strenuous activity for about an hour to really deplete all of your electrolyte and glycogen storage. And so really there's a lot of sugar, there's a lot of other processed elements. You're better simply to have water, and let's have a banana if you need to replace your electrolytes. Great source of potassium.
Good alternative there. All right, let's talk about what's going on over here. Talking about yogurt. I know some of these yogurts, especially for kids, seem to have a lot of sugar in it.
Exactly, and that's a real kicker. Yogurt is a great source of calcium and vitamin D, but it's better to choose the low-fat, the non-flavored yogurts. And then if you want to add some berries to that, or you want to add maybe a little shredded wheat into that if you want a little fiber, those are good alternatives versus the sweetened or the flavored yogurts.
All right, one thing that I love myself, and I like making them at home, smoothies, but if you get them commercially, sometimes there's a lot of sugar.
Right, because we know what we're putting in ours at home, right? So we know we're putting veggies in there, we're putting in all kinds of nice fruits, but the problem when you go to the store, they're going to load that. They're going to put sugar in there, they're going to put ice cream in there, they're going to put juices in there to flavor it up, and that's where the problem is.
How about gluten-free? A lot of people have kind of gotten on the gluten-free kick. They think everybody's doing it now. It seems like the healthy thing to do.
Right, another catchphrase, gluten-free meaning, without wheat, but the problem, again, a lot of these are very processed, very high in sugar to make them palatable, not great healthy choices.
Okay, turkey burgers. This seems like a good healthy alternative.
Yeah, and it's out, and everybody thinks that. The problem with turkey burgers is oftentimes they are higher in caloric intake than just a hamburger. Plus, they're very high in salt content. So, plus they're processed foods.
Okay, for folks who say, all right, I just want a small little snack, I'm going to get a 100-calorie pack. That's probably good for me, right?
Wrong.
Of course.
Because the problem is it's empty calories. And after 100 calories, you're going to want 200, then you're going to want 300. You get a sugar load, and you get all other kinds of elements in there that we don't even know what half of them are.
Quickly before we go, I want to get to Nutella. A lot of people put that on in the morning, perhaps, but there's something sitting right next to it, which reminds us
I think we'd all rather have a Milky Way bar. So if you're going to eat the Nutella, 2 tablespoons of that is equivalent to a Milky Way bar.
Okay, lastly, protein bars.
Yeah, protein bars. If you want protein, like we said earlier on, you want to get a good source of protein. You can get that from egg whites, you can get that from tofu, from beans, from meats, not from protein bars. There's a lot of sugar in these, there's a lot of processed elements, very little in the way of true protein.
Okay, so don't be fooled, do your research, and if it comes from the earth, it's good.
It's good.
Very good. Dr. Richard Chaffoo, we appreciate it. Misha, back over to you.